From a standpoint of total yards gained on the ground, Cyril Pendler is the best rusher so far for the Eagles. It is second down and 6. Snead to throw. Pryor gets him. Fred Pryor, number 89, shooting in from the defensive right end position, nailed him.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. Welcome to the Gridiron. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below, maybe even share this video. It would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, now I had quarterbacks. I did a video on the quarterbacks, like the top free agent quarterbacks, if the Giants were going to go out there in the open market and maybe try to bring somebody in. So now we're just going around the horn here. So we started with the quarterbacks. Let's go to the running backs, shall we? Now, I mean, there's a boatload of running backs out there. I mean, more running backs out there than you could shake a stick at. And the thing is price-wise too. Now you got to remember, Shane has no ties at all to Saquon, to Gary Brightwell, Devonta Booker. Now, Shane, Elijah Penny, he's a free agent. He was a bright spot last year on a sad offense. He was a bright spot. But Shane has no ties to him. I would have to think that if maybe Gettleman was still maybe the GM, possibly we would try to bring Penny back. It would be very expensive, but I mean, I would certainly say that maybe Gettleman might try to do something like that. But I mean, I said Shane has no ties to him at all, so I don't know if I don't see Penny coming back to the Giants at all. Now, got some scenarios here. They said, Gary Brightwell, what I saw in Spot Track anyway, right? He's due $869,000. I mean, he's just a baby, all right? Can't say we really haven't used him a lot like on offense, but good on special teams. So, I mean, I don't, we owe him $869. I believe they look like, according to Spot Track anyway. It was a $134,000 dead cap hit. So I mean, if he was just to let him go, we'd save about $750,000. But I mean, in his place, you'd have to sign somebody. But he could sign somebody that he likes. It could be a draft pick. We got Gary Brightwell in the draft late last year, late rounds. Might be the same thing here. Maybe you let Gary Brightwell go, and then in the sixth round or whatever, we pick up a running back that Shane likes, and basically you could just swap them out. Now Shane has his own running back that he has, right? And it basically cost about the same amount of money. With Saquon, now because you remember, he hasn't done anything. I mean, we got the coaching staff. There's obviously they're watching film and all of that, and they're seeing who's been naughty and who's been nice, who's gonna go bye-bye. Hasn't really made, Davis Webb and as a running back, I'm going to go over in a minute. We signed a couple guys to the futures reserve contracts, but hasn't really let anybody go. So, that's got to happen. Going to happen, guaranteed. Now, is it going to be maybe Saquon Barkley? Remember, Devonta Booker. It may not be Saquon, okay, but Devonta Booker played very well last year. He got the ball. He was like north and south. Good catching the ball, good running the ball, relatively cheap, for the most part. I would say he's $3 million this year. I mean, I don't know if Shane's going to want him as a $3 million as a backup running back. We let him. I think we got a $1 million dead cap hit. So if we will let Devonta Booker go, because once again he has no ties to Shane, we would save $2 million. $2 million is $2 million. I mean, it's not an awful amount, a heck of a lot, but it's something. But I mean, if he looks at the tape, Devonta Booker is, didn't do too bad for us last year. I don't know if we're going to keep Saquon, and he's going to want to get Devontae Booker. I mean, who knows? But as I said, with Saquon, we owe him $7.2 million. This is the last year of his contract. I don't see us re-signing him for a long haul. Don't see that happening. Can we? Is he maybe out trying to shop him around? Maybe we can get a third round for him. Because I mean, let's face it. If Saquon's healthy, if he gets. Seemed like he was kind of dancing around a little bit, like maybe he didn't, maybe trust his health, or I don't know what it is. But I mean, if they can get him back, where he's the old Saquon, maybe the Saquon from his rookie year, maybe when he's jumping over people, get him back. I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete, really is. I mean, I could see us getting a third rounder for him if he was. If he was healthy all these years and he played the way, he played in his rookie season and he just kept playing that way for these last 4 years, we can get a first rounder for him, sure. But with the injuries he's had, I mean, I can see maybe a third rounder, but we get rid of him, right? And we would have 3 third-round picks, and we would save $7.2 million. Not only that, but and then maybe you can have Devontae Booker would be your bell cow, right? Which brings me to my next guy, who he does have ties to, is Antonio Williams. Antonio Williams was the ex-Bill, right? We signed him to a reserve future contract, $825,000, right? He was with the Bills. I said we also signed, Davis Webb too, who was with the Bills. But, it's the familiarity and bringing in his own guys he's familiar with, guys he's comfortable with, guys he feels like he can put on the field. Well, maybe not Davis Webb, but put on the field or at least start a team with. Right? I said maybe not Davis Webb, but I mean with Antonio Williams, Shane likes him. So Antonio Williams is here. Now, as I said, as far as the other guys were Brightwell, Saquon. And Devontae Booker, who knows about the same. Maybe one goes, maybe 2 go. I mean, I said we'll just have to wait and see. But there are some good guys out there. I said, and even other than the guys I got on this list here, there's a boatload of guys. It's just it's a lot of guys out there. The first one, of course, is Melvin Gordon. All right, now he's going to he'll turn 29 this year. I mean, he had a nice year last year. 918 yards rushing, 213 receiving yards. He had 8 rushing TDs, and he had 2 receiving touchdowns last year. Right? Of course, he's the one that sealed the deal in Game 1 for the Broncos against us. He had that 70-yard touchdown run against us. It was 20-7 at the time. And then he ran 70 yards for a touchdown. They made it 27-7, and we lost 27-13. Daniel Jones ran the ball in. His time expired. We didn't get a chance to kick the extra point. But Melvin Gordon that 70-yard touchdown run put the game out of reach. So, but he was, I mean, this is it. I mean, he might be a bit much, even we were going to try to consider him. He was $8 million last year, but. His market value, okay, according to Spot Track, once again, right, is $5.2 million, right? I think he's still a bit too much money, for us. Even if we got rid of Saquon, I don't know if we would even want to consider it. I mean, what do you want to save? Get rid of 7, and just spend 5. I mean, I don't know. It would just be you'd be just saving a couple $1 million. I don't know. Maybe unless you trade Saquon, you get a 3rd round pick, and then you maybe sign Melvin Gordon. But I mean, I think if you're going to trade Saquon, I mean, you maybe get Devontae Booker will be your number 1 guy, and maybe get another guy behind Devontae. But I think, Melvin Gordon's nice, but I think he's just a bit expensive for us. And you got David Johnson with the Houston Texans. Now he's going to be 30. All right, he made $5 million last year. He was with Houston. So I mean, he had 228 yards rushing, 225 yards receiving. And according to Spot Track, his market value is only $1.4 million. So if we were to, if we needed somebody else, right? Maybe you get, he can, as far as a backup, that's not something you want to be putting in there all the time, I don't think. But I mean, as far as a backup, he would be adequate. I mean, if you can get it for like $1.5 million, he could back up Devontae, especially if we wind up getting rid of Saquon. I think if we keep Saquon, if we keep Devontae, I said we keep Brightwell. Yeah, I said we got Antonio Williams. Those might be our 4 running backs. But I said if we were going to get rid of one of those other 3 guys, we can maybe bring in somebody cheap, maybe like David Johnson, or we might draft somebody in the later rounds. But anyway, then we get Leonard Fournette. Right, he was only $3.25 million last year. He had 812 yards rushing, 454 yards receiving. All right. Now you got to remember, he was with the Bucs and Brady. Now, if Leonard Fournette was on the Giants, he would not have 812 yards rushing and 454 yards receiving. Not happening. So you got to remember where he came from. All right. Now he's only 27. All right. His market value is what sort of spot track. Went up. So I said he's only 27. Apparently, the spot track thinks he's worth about $6 million. So that kind of puts him out of the Giants' range. I saw that they might on spot track it would be like maybe somebody should offer him like a 2-year deal with about $12 million. So I mean that puts him pretty much out of the Giants, range right there. But I mean, once again, he's a free agent too. He got some good solid free agents here. I mean. The next one would be Philip Lindsay. Love the guy. He'll be 28, but he's only 5'8". He's only 190 pounds. Obviously, he's a very good runner. He's very, very good. In his first 2 years, he had over 1,000 yards both seasons with the Broncos, and both the seasons he had 35 receptions. So he can run it and he can catch it. But the past 2 years, combined, he only had 11 receptions and 750 yards rushing. All right, and he's missed some time the past couple years due to injury. All right, he was at $3.25 million last year. So I mean, he would be if you could get him, if we needed somebody, right? He wouldn't be the number 1 running back. I said if we needed somebody on the bench or whatever. I mean, if you could get him for like $1.5 million or maybe $2 million or so, because he did miss a little bit of time last year too. And I said he didn't have stellar numbers last year either. So I don't know if it's because he's small, the wear and tear on his body from all the runs is starting to slow him down. Don't know, but but he's out there. Then you got, love this guy, Cordarrelle Patterson. Unfortunately, he's the guy that faked Blake Martinez out of his jockstrap that made Blake Martinez hurt himself, non-contact injury. Blake went for the fake, laid on the ground, and his season was pretty much over. Frickin' turf injuries, I can't stand. But Cordarrelle Patterson, he can run, he can catch, he can return kicks. The frickin' guy can do anything. Now, he will be 31, all right, but still. All right, he was only $3 million last year. He had 618 rushing yards. He had 548 receiving yards. So between the two, he had well over 1,100 yards between rushing and receiving. He had 6 rushing touchdowns, 5 receiving touchdowns. All right, he's good. I mean, as I said, he was only $3 million last year. I mean, certainly somebody can say. I mean, a guy, as I said, he can return kicks, anything you want him to do. I love the guy. Love the guy, absolutely love the guy. Then James Conner. Now he had a pretty special year. It was probably more or less kind of like he was with the Cardinals. I mean, because they, the first 8, 9, 10 games. I mean, it looked like the Cardinals were like the best team in football. Then they just kind of fell off a cliff there toward the end. Now, last year with Arizona, he had 752 yards rushing, but he had 15 rushing touchdowns. He had 375 receiving yards, three receiving TDs. He was only $1.75 million last year. I mean, obviously, all the touchdowns he scored. I mean, he scored almost as many touchdowns, 18, as the Giants did. Right? So, I mean, he had a very good, but it was because, when you got Zach Ertz, you got Murray, the quarterback. You got A.J. Green running around out there. You got Hopkins out there running around. You got some special talent out there running around. That certainly helps open things up for your running back, and it paid off for James Conner last year. Now, as I said, he was only 1.75. Now, he might wind up getting a little bit more because of the special year he wound up having. But, he's still young. He's a good quality running back. He's still out there. Sonny Michel, he was with the Rams, and he was only 27. He was only $2.4 million with the Rams, but apparently, according to Spot Track, his market value is $5 million. But he had 845 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. He had 128 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. So, he had almost 1,000 yards, right? And because, keep in mind, he was with the Rams, right? But, he is a special talent, right? The Patriots wouldn't have drafted him if he wasn't, if they didn't think he was special. Rashaad Penny, from Seattle. Now, he's only 26 years old, and he only played in 10 games last year, but he averaged 6.3 yards per carry. He had 749 yards rushing and 6 rushing touchdowns. Now, you ain't going to get much from the dude in the passing game, so that might kind of nix him right there, but he would have wound up having well over 1,000 yards rushing if he played all 17 games. Now, he was only $2.7 million. He has missed some time with Seattle. That might have been maybe kind of why they declined to pick up his 5th-year option. But so it's kind of is he healthy wise reliable? But he said he was 6.3 yards a rush last year. Very, very impressive especially for a Seattle Seahawks team that kind of lacked some offensive firepower last year. He only played in 10 games though, but when he was in there, he was pretty special. As I said, he was only $2.7 million. Right. Now this interesting guy here, Darrell Williams, right, from Kansas City. All right. Let's not forget Williams Kafka. Okay. Little connection going on there. He'll be 27. He played in all 17 games for the Chiefs last year. He had 558 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. He had 452 receiving yards and another 2 touchdowns. So basically, he had 1,000 yards between rushing and receiving. And once again, it was with the Chiefs. Okay, let's keep that in mind. If he had played with the Giants last year, he would not have had 1,000 yards rushing and receiving. Probably not. So just keep that in mind. But it said he was only $1.6 million last year. According to Spot Track, his market value is $2.2 million, so it went up a little bit, but still very, very affordable. Now, I said, if Kafka, goes in there and starts talking and, talking to Shane, and, if we wind up getting rid of somebody, maybe it might be somebody to bring him in for $2 million. If we were to trade Saquon, Devontae would be the number 1 running back. Maybe you bring Darrell Williams in as the backup, and then you got Gary Brightwell and Antonio Williams would be on the side of the 3rd or 4th string running backs. But Darrell Williams, 17 games with the Chiefs, he did very good for him. So he's not that old, and he's relatively cheap. I know we could also draft somebody in the later rounds. There's always plenty of running backs out there. Just because the guys get hurt, there's always. It's just the thing is the quality. It also goes the same thing like with the draft. Obviously the later rounds you go, obviously the worst. The quality is for the most part. Same thing. I was looking at the free agent, top free agent running backs out there, and it was just like a whole boatload of them. It's just. They're all over the place. But these are just some of the top ones. I never would have thought in a million years Antonio Williams would have become, but he's got the connection with Shane now. Does Shane have, or are there any other connections out there like with Dable, Shane, Kafka, anybody else out there? We'll have to wait and see. But just figure you got March 16th is free agency. It's today's Tuesday, right? The 22nd. So we got 23 days till free agency rolls around. We don't. If we're not going to sign anybody, we don't have to. He doesn't have to, let go of anybody between now and then. But you got to figure that we're going to try to get at least maybe one little nice splash. Maybe a $10 million guy, maybe a few other guys, maybe a $3 or $4 million, another $3 or $4 million guy. Something very, very small. But if we're going to do something like that, you got to figure within these next 23 days, we're going to start letting guys go. And will Devontae Booker, Gary Brightwell or Saquon Barkley be one of them? We'll have to wait and see. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants!